Good morning, everyone. Look who's going to be reading with us. He snuck right up on the chair with me. Oh, because he loves me so much. Yeah, right. No. He's sitting here because it's warm. He's a short-haired dog, and he's old. He's getting older. I think he's what, 8 now? How old are you? 8? 7? 8? He's a pretty amazing dog. And if he could talk, he'd have something to say. He does talk in his own language, right? Huh? Yeah. Stubborn. He's so stubborn, too. I mean, it's funny in certain things. And everybody's in the house right now. You guys want to see? I don't know if you guys can see well, but there's Jake. Jake! Say good morning. Yep. And over there is Ozzy and Gus. Yep, everybody's hanging out in the house. I'll let them in now. Well, the Bo and Jake are always in the house. Well, always in the house. They get to come in the house because they're no problem. The other two over there, I'm letting in the house little, how do you say? A little at a time, not for too long, because they're in the house for too long. You have no idea the destruction those two can create. Huh? Yeah. But if it gets really, really cold, though they'd be fine out on the porch with their mattress and at the doghouse. But, right, who doesn't like a little bit of warmth when it gets really cold? So when the temperature goes below a certain degree, I'll let them in, but I can't let them in right? It's just too much havoc. And they're sneaky, too. They're really sneaky, both of them. So if I figured out how to close off the bottom here so they can't go up to the top floor, which I thought was fine because all the doors are closed this way. Gus likes to dig around in the pots I have to dig in, and whatever there is in there, which I have some things in the pots just as decoration, he'll pull out, right, and then go someplace with it. Yeah, so it's just, and Ozzy can, if he sniffs a tiny little morsel of food anywhere, he'll get to it. And it doesn't matter what he has to, right, push aside, drag down, right? Yes, so. But I have the door open right now. I like to air out the house. Even when it's really cold, I like the door open for a little bit, an hour or so. And then I do my sweeping. And, okay, right now I'm doing my reading. My hands are kind of cold, but it's not cold enough for a fire right now. And I have some work to do in the house where I need to walk around just by myself. I'll be plenty warm. So I'll start the fire a little later, right, in the afternoon before Sissy gets home because she likes it warm. She's at work right now. So that's what I'm going to do. And I talked to a friend yesterday and heard for the first, I've never heard of taco soup before. No, I haven't. She said, oh, making me some taco soup. I said, taco soup? And Sissy really likes tacos too and stuff. So, and I thought, oh, taco soup. Well, that would be, so, which means I have to go and get the ground beef out. Okay. And the milk. I got to go and dig for the milk in there too. I should write this down. Okay. So she explained to me how she makes it. And I have just about all the ingredients. So, so if it's a little different than the original recipe, so what, right? But never made taco soup before. So I'm making taco soup and surprise my sissy with a good dinner she loves. She's really good about eating what I cook, and I like to experiment with my cooking a lot, okay? Well, that makes it interesting for me, and I love it. I get really into it. And I always like it, but I like all kinds of tastes and spices and not that, but that's not for everyone. So So today we're going to make something that I know she's really going to love. All right. So, we got a day of. All right. Oh, here's one of our Mamre. All right, Genesis out of our New Jerusalem Bible. I like this Bible a lot, but it's suffering a little bit. I can tell. Look, can you tell? My gosh. Just, see, I got and there's more. I got more stuff in there. Not necessarily marked all over, but it gets used a lot. It's a little like Maddie was, my little spiritual buddy. My little dog passed away just very recently, at the age of 15, and just like her, this book follows me everywhere. If I take anything anywhere, even if I have to go stay someplace, that goes with me. I know, right? Well, we all have our. I'll forget my toothbrush, my hairbrush, but I will not forget my Bible. All right, so here we go. Then I saw another one. Now, what I'd like to mention just real quick before we get started, where it is in the Bible as well, where a child doesn't really grow up, will never really grow up until it leaves the parents. And that was one of and it's like, oh, a mom, who, yeah, I kind of understand that now, and it's in the Bible as well, right? Eventually, you leave your parents and you start your own family, right? That's the logical way to go. Or again, that's just what the ideal, right? It's not always the ideal, right? But there's enough children out there, right, that need a home, where even if you can't have children as a couple, right, then make room for one or two, right? All right. But I think that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to leave your parents, right? I think, to me, that means more that when the children are taken care of by the parents, then they get to a certain age where there should be a sense of responsibility in the child to start taking care of the parents. And when that happens, then your child has grown up. Then that shows my child has grown up, because now it is stepping. And a parent should be proud of that, that the child is willing to take on responsibility as an adult, to take care of whom? The people who raised it. That's a beautiful thing. That's leaving the parents, where you're not constantly still sucking on that umbilical cord as a child, even when you're 30 and 40 years old, right? Yes. That doesn't mean that the parents can't help out one of their adult children every once in a while with certain things, right? But if it's still a constant thing and the child cannot, at a certain age, survive in the world or around the parents with contributing in the way that they should, then yeah, right? That's kind of what that means, don't you think? Yeah, all right. So there it is. So 18 in Genesis. No, you're nice and warm actually too. That's kind of good for my back right now in the way yeah, that's good. That's good. Huh? What, did you know I needed that instead of leaning back? All right. Well, there you go. Working together. Their animals' instincts are pretty darn good. Much better than a human being's could ever be, huh? Oh. All right. We don't operate on instinct. That's the thing. The apparition at Mamre. That's it. Mamre. So somehow that's a real Mamre. I like that word. Yahweh appeared to him, I guess, Abraham, at the oak of Mamre while he was sitting by the entrance of the tent during the hottest. Yeah, you better lay down. You start moving around and something's going to fall again. You lay back down. Good. Sitting by the entrance of the tent during the hottest part of the day, he looked up, and there he saw 3 men standing near him. Probably had a sunstroke. Or rather, heat stroke. Well, why did I mention that? As soon as he saw them, he ran from the entrance of the tent to greet them, and bowed to the ground. "My lord," he said, "if I find favor with you, please do not pass your servant by. Let me have a little water brought, and you can wash your feet and have a rest under the tree." How did he recognize they were not just 3 guys? Maybe he had a dream ahead of time that he would have some visitors or something. I don't know. Doesn't say either. "Let me fetch a little bread, and you can refresh yourselves before going further, now that you have come in your servant's direction." They replied, "Do as you say." All right. Maybe they looked really rich or something, right? Oh, Appease the Rich by, "Oh, I'm your servant." I don't know. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, it's not. Let's just read the story. I mean, let's think. 'Cause if I were to sit out on the porch and it's real hot, and here come 3 guys walking up on, okay, I don't know. Well, probably look well. Okay, don't see no weapons or anything. Maybe they're just hot. Oh, that's why they mention the hottest day, because these guys, they must be thirsty. All right, nice story. Abraham hurried to the tent and said to Sarah, "Quick, knead 3 measures of best flour and make loaves." Then, running to the herd, Abraham took a fine and tender calf and gave it to the servant, who hurried to prepare it. Then, taking curds, milk, and the calf which had been prepared, he laid all before them, and they ate while he remained standing near them under the tree. Well, it had to be evening time by now. It takes a long time to prep a calf. Now it's more little, right? But it takes a while to have that all done, and then lay out a meal with bread that you have to make yourself and all, right? It isn't just, "Hey, Sarah, go quick to the store, right? Be back in 10 minutes. This took a while. So I guess at that time, people were used to visiting for hours and hours, which people do here too, by the way. Usually till I'm done with cooking as well. Anywho, so but he didn't eat with them. No. "Where is your wife Sarah?" they asked him. "She's in the tent," he replied. Then his guest said, "I shall come back to you next year, and when your wife Sarah will have a son." But there were 3 guys, weren't there? Huh? Okay. Sarah was listening at the entrance of the tent behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, well on in years, and Sarah had ceased to have her monthly periods. So Sarah laughed to herself, thinking, "Now that I am past the age of childbearing and my husband is an old man, is pleasure to come my way again?" Okay, so I find it interesting that when God told Abraham that he was going to have a son with Sarah, he was laughing too. Both of them were laughing, right? Not believing. Instead of, "Wow, this is great. Yes, I'm going to." I mean, here's the reverence for, obviously, some guests that Abraham has, he knows, have come from God. He treats them really well, right? Really well. And yet, when God actually talks to him himself, God gets laughed at, right? You know how it is sometimes too when you're a bit of an idealist, right? Or have this hope in your heart that things for everyone out there will be beautiful and wonderful, and where we have our proper places as human beings, raise our children well, right? The parents' hell will slowly go down. You're laughed at. When young people walk on the streets of Washington, D.C., right, in favor of abstinence and waiting till marriage, they get laughed at by older generations. Don't you think that's sad? Huh? Yeah. God has been laughed at by Abraham and Sarah for something that, yeah, right, that's not going to happen again, right? Yes? Well, the other thing too, again, right? In order for this to be a bit more even, right, miraculous, it would help if they were both really, really old, right? There are instances where some women in their 50s and even early 60s somehow still had a child. It's very rare, but it has happened, right? So again, I don't think that they were both close to 100 years old, okay? But they could have been really advanced in age, especially Sarah, where certain things have to happen in the body to have a child. That it's kind of okay. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. Oh, besides, she believed she was barren. Well, but yet, where's the belief here by both Abraham and Sarah to just have trust in God that what he promises, he will give. It will happen. Yet there has to be a working together, right? As I explained in the other video. Well, anyway, interesting. Huh? I thought about that, how Abraham laughed at God when he told him, yeah, right, that ain't going to happen. He didn't laugh at God. He kind of just, while he was bowing down, right, laughing, that ain't going to happen. And I was going to mention that, and I forgot. I guess I had to wait to mention it, because here now Sarah does the same thing, right? Yes? Okay. Interesting. Now that I'm past the age of childbearing and my husband is an old man, is pleasure to come my way again? Oh. But Yahweh asked Abraham, why did Sarah laugh and say, am I really going to have a child now that I am old? Nothing is impossible for Yahweh. I shall come back to you at the same time next year, and Sarah will have a son. Oh, interesting too. So now this is a guest, the messenger of God, okay? Who this does said, why is Sarah laughing? Right? I will come back next year when you do have that son. You should, there's nothing impossible for God. So someone's lecturing them right now. Right? I wonder if Abraham thinks, ooh, I did that too. Actually directly talking to God, if that's what they did, what he did at that time there. And God didn't admonish him though, did he? You see? I know it's these little things, where I think, okay, am I so off? Teaching people, God's not a vengeful God. He's not a wrathful God. He is not someone you have to fear, no matter what. And little things like this that I come across and go, see, someone else had to say that. Someone else needed to say, hey, why are you laughing? You really think Yahweh wants to do it. If God wants to do it, it's impossible. If he can do it, and again, not breaking any of the heavenly laws that our heavenly parent is under as well. He will not. Right? Best example. I know that's difficult to understand, but if you really think on how things are going out there, then you know that is the truth. It's not that God doesn't want to do something. He can't. He'll be breaking all kinds of heavenly laws. One of them is we have freedom of will. If he suddenly steps in and stops us from this or that, right, then our will will be taken away. He's not going to do that. But we're going to have to learn from our own mistakes. But as soon as we decide, done with this path of evil, I need to get on the path of good. Yeah, there's some restoration always going on. There are some consequences need to be taken care of, this, that, right? But eventually, you're going to be on this path you will never want to leave again. Right? Because you realize that our Heavenly Parent can be a part of it. And it's just beautiful, even if there's still some pain and suffering and this and that going on. Do you know what I mean? Okay. So, we'll never finish this. I have too much to say. Hey, again, people don't have time to listen. Well, I can't shorten this. Spirit World won't let me. So there is that. But as I said, little things. Here comes the guest. Sarah laughs. And why is she laughing? Really? Nothing's impossible for God if the conditions are right. Where he can step in and make a miracle like that happen. But he didn't admonish Abraham when he laughed. Right? You see, God won't do that. He'll just, okay. Probably to himself, he thought, that's really sad. Abraham has so little faith in me. Right? But he didn't admonish him or anything. Well, anyway. God could have thought, well, I'll show you. Well. Okay. Oh, Sarah said, I did not laugh, lying because she was afraid. But he replied, oh, yes, you did laugh. I just don't understand why people think they get away with lying. Lying is, even if you're a really good liar, people with a good heart to mind, they know you're lying. They will know you're lying and they won't say anything. Because you know what? Dealing with people who are lying, it's exhausting. And sometimes, okay, I'll just take your story for whatever it is and move on. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Well, that's that. Abraham intercedes for Sodom. Abraham intercedes for Sodom. From there the men set out and arrived with sight of Sodom, with Abraham accompanying them to speed them on their way. Now Yahweh had wondered, shall I conceal from Abraham what I am going to do? As Abraham will become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will bless themselves by him. For I have singled him out to command his sons and his family after him to keep the way of Yahweh by doing what is upright and just, so that Yahweh can carry out for Abraham what he has promised him. Then Yahweh said, the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, and their sin is so grave, that I shall go down and see whether or not their actions are at all as the outcry reaching me would suggest. Then I shall know. I found this interesting on, I perceive spirit world as all around us, right? People can call it a different dimension or something. It's not what it is. It's there's no way we're going to completely understand what this unseen yet seen world as well, right? Really actually what the span of it is, right? If there is one, most likely not. The universe, again, yes, see, there is always these dual characteristics. We have the universe out there with this vastness. Now, we don't know how vast it is. Then we have Earth that is contained. We know, by now we know exactly how much of Earth there is, that it's round, that is, the volume of it. We know it all. We know everything, just about it. So spirit world is the two combined again, right? Yes, the universe and the earth. Right? Now, put that together, right? Yes? So spirit world in a way is the vastness, right, of the universe. And earth in spirit world is us, the spirits, right? If you want to look at it that way. So in any case, so here they're saying that he's coming down. No, he's not coming down. Yeah, not coming down, but that makes sense, right? Because you look up in the sky. So he comes down at the outcry of Sodom and Gomorrah. So, again, I can't see. All right, he's coming down, he's looking around. Okay, let's read ahead more and see what happens next. While the men left there and went to Sodom, Yahweh remained in Abraham's presence. Oh, the three messengers. I'm assuming they were something. I can't quite. How that happens, I don't know. Three people taken over by some other spirit, but that's against the law in heaven. You can't do that. That's, again, there had to be something else. Maybe they had dreams. It doesn't say who the three men were either. I think in some other Bibles they're referred to as three angels. It's what it is. Yahweh remained in Abraham's presence. Oh. So the men left, but God stayed. Presence. That could mean that, somehow the connection was still, the connection between God and the people at that time must have still been a lot stronger. Just like with children. Children are connected to spirit world till about the age of 5. Between 5 and 6, that starts to, because the child actually becomes more, comprehends more from the physical. Before that, a little baby just, how does it get the attention of anyone this snap? And the recognition slowly of the main people in a baby's life becomes apparent to the baby, right? But babies are still very, very much connected to spirit world, and 2-year-olds, and 3-year-olds, and 4-year-olds, right? And 5-year-olds. But between 5 and 6, that starts to, there is a change that happens. I know that because that's exactly what happened to me. Oh, does it happen to every child? I think it does. If one were to actually really have conversations according to kind of that with people, one would realize that. But studies aren't done like that, you see? It's either a child is psychic and then you want to explore that and how is that possible, or it is just all a physical thing or this or that, but or science has to dispute any kind of possibilities of that and find other things in your brain, the neurons, blah 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 blah, blah, right? There aren't, but actual studies on how children up to the age of between 5 and 6 are still connected to that spiritual part where they came from, that's not being done. Yeah. God forbid we would find that. So it is, yeah, I could see that at the time where the spiritual guidance of God is so new, right, in people, that was very much, that thread was very much still there, right? Especially after Noah's covenant with God. So I could see that. I mean, I have my conversations with spirit world, and I do believe that the presence of God every so often truly is there. Okay, what am I saying? I'm sorry. As soon as my heart reaches out, my heart to mind reaches out to the presence of God, it's there. Done. And I can have any kind of conversation. Done. Yes. Oh, yeah. And they're always honest conversations. Yes. Anywho. So, in my life that exists. So, there you go. Oh, I just got my answer, didn't I? It's like Spurs, you wonder about things that you know full well how it works in your own life, right? Yeah. Oh, right. Exactly. Okay. I'm too far into the past here right now, and I didn't connect to the present. Yeah, so it is. Okay. Now Yahweh had wondered, shall I conceal from Abraham, okay, what I'm going to do, as Abraham will become a great nation, this and that. For I have singled him out to command his sons and his family after him to keep the way of Yahweh by doing what is upright and just, so that Yahweh can carry out for Abraham what he has promised him. All right, we have to read that one more time to get more clarity. Then Yahweh said, the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, and their sin is so grave, that I shall go down. Oh, wait a minute, we already read all that. Do you want me to read that again? All right, it is me who didn't pay attention. Sorry. Adam stepped forward and said, will you really destroy... Now, God's still in his presence. Men have left. Will you really destroy the upright with the guilty? Suppose there are 50 upright people in a city. Will you really destroy it? Will you not spare the place for the sake of the 50 upright in it? Do not think of doing such a thing, to put the upright to death with the guilty, so that the upright and the guilty fare alike. Is the judge of the whole world not to act justly? Whoa, he's questioning God here. Well, he wasn't afraid to do that. That's good. You see, Abraham wasn't afraid to do that. Abraham did not fear God. Not here, he didn't. He actually, if this is right, true and right, he questioned God. Hey, what? What are you going to do? But what if? What if? What if? Yahweh replied, if I find 50 upright people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place because of them. I find this interesting. So here's the kind of the question, accusation of Abraham to God. How is this fair? What if there are 50 people there? Right? He could have said, what if there's one person there? Right? Yes? 50 people. And kind of gave God a little talking to, right? And what does God do? He says, okay, God didn't defend himself and say, well, that is because, tried to give a big old explanation. He says, okay, let's go and have a look. Let's go and have a look. If there are 50 upright people there, and if there are, I'm not going to do anything. Let's go and look for the truth. Oh, interesting. Abraham spoke up and said, it is presumptuous of me to speak to the Lord, I who am dust and ashes. Suppose the 50 upright were 5 short. Would you destroy the whole city because of 5? Oh, oh. Abraham had the same idea. After God said, okay, let's go and see if there's 50. Oh, what if it's 45? Oh, Abraham wasn't dumb. Okay, that's good to know. At least he wasn't dumb. No, he replied, I shall not destroy it if I find 45 there. Abraham persisted and said, suppose there are 40 to be found there. I shall not do it, he replied, for the sake of the 40. Abraham said, I hope the Lord will not be angry if I go on. Suppose there are only 30 to be found there. I shall not do it, he replied. If I find 30 there, he said, it is presumptuous of me to speak to the Lord. Suppose there are only 20 there. I shall not destroy it, he replied, for the sake of the 20. He said, I trust my Lord will not be angry if I speak once more. Perhaps there will only be 10. I shall not destroy it, he replied, for the sake of the 10. When he had finished talking to Abraham, Yahweh went away, and Abraham returned home. That's the end of 18. That's an interesting one. And again, I think that just proved what I talked to before. Well, why don't you guys just have Bible study, right? Why am I doing it? I know why I'm doing it. Yes, that's right. How would you guys all hear what they actually have, or how they're guiding me to snap if I weren't here doing it? All right, got that out of the way. Interesting, though, right? What was I just talking about before? God can work with goodness in your life, right? Here's Abraham says, well, even if there's just 10, probably went all the way down to 1. God said, yep, if there's 1, all right. Well, there was 1, right? We think, right? Because we all know about Lot. Yeah, but we also all know what Lot did afterwards. Lot was no good either. Okay, I said that. Okay, no good. Lot wasn't following the path of goodness, the heavenly laws, and he should know them, right? The way he grew up. So there it is, right? God will listen to our pleas, right? It's interesting because in a way, what did Noah do there? He prayed. He prayed. He prayed, Father, what if? I know you want to destroy this place, but what if there is a good person there? A few good people. Would you do it? Where there's a few good people, there's still hope that others will follow them. Yeah, maybe. You know, Jesus only had 12 disciples and he sent them out into the world, right? Yes, to teach. And what happened to Christianity, right? Yes. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Are you all right? He has a bad hip. He's messing with the hip. You're jealous? Are you getting jealous? Oh, now I got them all here. Which means I need to finish up and feed the crew. Yes. Well, anyway, yesterday, Genesis 17, didn't like it. Didn't like to read that. Didn't get it. Again, was that really a message from Yahweh? Or did something else sneak in there to give a message that isn't, didn't sound right to me. Then today we have 18. Actually, really beautiful. Many ways a beautiful chapter to learn from. It just depends on how you look at it again, right? Is that right, Gus? Huh? I'm never going to teach you to not kill chickens, am I? I'm a little sad about that. But maybe as he gets a little older. Huh? You're such a giant. I forget what a giant you are, huh? And how young you are. Okay. Well, that's all I have to share this morning. Yeah? Time to get going, do a little work. There's always work to be done here. You're never done. They can't see how anybody would get bored here. Huh? Yes. All right. Well, God's love and blessings always. Now we'll talk to y'all another time.